We have Daniel in New Jersey. You're on the air with JMike and Matt, and you want to tell us how the source of reality is God. So welcome.
That's right. Hi, JMike, and hi, Matt. So I guess that is my argument, or I will be presenting an argument that God is that which emanates reality all the time. And in order to do that, I guess the best way to start would be to try to explain what I'm talking about when I say God.
Well, I would also want you to define reality as well.
Okay. So I'll start with reality first then. Reality is the ever-changing eternal now. That is the present. That this is all, like this being all that exists is reality as we are observing it in the present now. Is that sufficient?
Yeah, it's going to prompt questions, but I mean, it's great because we at least have a definition. So if you want to define God, maybe we can get to some questions.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like to try to point to God in experience, in our awareness of reality. So for me, God is on the other side of the reality that we are experiencing now. He is that which creates the present, and nature being that which evolves, the rules according to which nature evolves would be God's nature. And I guess also the idea that God created in the past the universe would be changed to God creates the universe and it emanates into the present.
So the problem with your God definition, Daniel, is that your God definition includes the very thing you're trying to argue for. You defined God as that which creates the present. So if you start with premise one, God is that which creates the present, and the whole argument is designed to show that God is that which emanates reality, your argument is absolutely, undeniably, irrefutably circular. So you have to have a different definition of God in order to use that. But before we let you redefine God, let's take this, all that exists. What does it mean to say that this is emanated? How do you know that something that reality can be emanated, and how could you tell that it is emanated?
The reason I guess believe it's emanated is that the present is all that exists. There is no past, like past and future are conceptual, but all that exists is the now. And it is both the present moment in time, but it's also eternal. There is no other time. And so if right now what we're looking at is the ever-evolving present, it kind of invites us to take a different model, a different view of the world that, well, it's not just that this is some flow of time from past to future. This is all just now, happening now.
I don't just feel like Daniel, I don't disagree with any of that strongly. I don't know how that gets you to it is emanated. I'm fine with it. There's lots of different ways to look at time. Alan Watts had versions of time that related to, we're seeing parts of time as a snake and it's a circle disc and all this other thing. Irrespective of which view of time is correct, I'm fine with the notion that now is all that exists. And that, by the way, we don't experience now. We experience a recollection of the now that was before and all that other stuff. All of that is absolutely fine. But I don't see how you got from here's my view of time to therefore it is something that is emanated from something or someone.
I think you're absolutely right. I definitely didn't justify that. I think I can try, without redefining God, I would rather try to use a different argument. And the argument is just that this conception of God fits religious beliefs and provides another way to interpret reality. We could say that.
No. So now you've tried. I should just stop you, Daniel, and let you go off and try to rework this and come back at another time, because the arguments and definitions that you're using today can't possibly do that. And even in your attempt here to redefine God. You didn't then define God as a conception that fits religious beliefs and allows us to, oh, no, that's you redefining God to fit a model rather than demonstrating that there is any such God, when even the God in that model can't demonstrate the emanates portion of your argument. So I think it's probably better for you to go off and think about this, come up with the definitions, and come up with a better argument rather than trying to do it on the fly, because it's just going to get messy.
Yeah, and I'd compare it also to what's called a panacea. It seems that you're providing a remedy for all cures, right? It seems like you're post hoc assessing. You're looking at the data and then going, oh, well, this fits that. And I've probably said this too many times on the show, but I'm very concerned with ideas that don't provide a model or future predictions, because it's just your imagination until you give me a mechanism to determine it being reflective of the reality we share. And if you just cite things like, oh, well, I view time this way, I take an A theory or B theory of time or whatever it is, like we could agree, but I don't understand taking that data and then just kind of sneaking in some ontology like God or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I don't see the relation there.
Saying this is how I view time, and I think it's emanated by God, is logically indistinguishable from this is how I view biology, and I think God is the explanation for it, which is also indistinguishable from these are the foundations of logic, and I think God serves as the underpinning for it. It's neat that you think that, but we got to have better definitions in an argument.
Well, okay then. Thank you for pointing out the weaknesses, and I will reassess and regroup, and I'd like to call again soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.